Welcome back. In this video, we're going to take care of this library screen, and therefore we're just going to use the dummy data in this case with a few items. So we need to know the UI element and the name basically. And then we have these items that you can see here inside of our library, which are basically just, well, it's a row, right? So you could say it's a column that puts rows underneath each other with a row that holds the whole thing, and then another row which has these two items here, and then there's a lot of space between, and then there's another icon here. So that's pretty much what we have here, right? So it's nothing that you couldn't do yourself, except for maybe setting up the dummy data. So let's set up the dummy data, and therefore I'm just going to create a new Kotlin file class, which I'm going to call dummy data. It will be a data class. Here, data class, and this one will be dummy. Now this dummy data, well, actually the file name will be dummy, but the data itself will be, data class itself will be lib, which stands for library. You could also call it library if you wanted to. So this will hold a drawable resource of type icon, or being called icon of type integer, and it will hold the name of type string. And now inside here, well, that's already the data class. The data class doesn't have any content, but then we're going to create a list of libraries, which will be a list of lib items. So of this data class that we set up, now we just need to say which items we want to have in here. And I'm just going to put in a few. So the first one will be a lib r.drawable. And here you see I have these icons. So I will just import the icons from my other project. Therefore, let me go over to that folder, open in Explorer. So here, this is my other project. You can download my project and get the icons from there. And there you will find the drawables. So the ones that I'm interested in this particular case is the microphone, this one, then the genre, the baseline music note, as well as the, wait a second, it's playlist green, this one, as well as finally the playlist album, IC baseline album. So you can just copy them with Control-C and paste them into your other drawables folder in your own project, like so. And then you can use the same icons that I have used. Now, obviously you can play around and use your own icons. You saw how to create icons with the resource manager, right? And I'm just going to use this list of libraries here, like so. Okay, I don't need you to, or you don't need to look at me creating this list of entries, but basically that's the icons that I want to use as my dummy data. So now we can go ahead and create the library screen. And again, it can just be a new Kotlin file class, which I'm going to call library. This one will be a composable fun library, which contains a lazy column with the content being my items libraries that we just created, where I'm saying for each library, create a library item. Now, what does this library item look like? As I said earlier, right? So let's just create a composable here, add composable, which will be fun lib item. So library item, which needs a library of type library or of type lib. So we need to import lib here. This was our own class, the library class. And here we can just go ahead and create a column. Well, actually, let me just paste it in here. As I said, we've seen this multiple times already, right? you should be able to do that. You should pause the video and try to generate what we see here. So you see we have a column, underneath we have a row, or inside of it we have a row which has space between, and then we have another row which takes care of this thing here, and then inside of that row we still have this, well, inside of the outer row we have this icon, and then underneath each row, like the outer row, but still inside the column, we have the divider. And we have that for every single library item. So let me show you how that works in code. Basically, it looks like this. Where, let me import text here. Okay, now we get our libraries and we need to import the lazy scope, and we're just going to create a library or lib item with lib. And now we can use this library page. So let's look at the code real quick. Basically, it's our outer column with a row with a little bit of a modifier. Then that's the important one, horizontal arrangement, space between, which generates this space between here, this white space between this icon and this playlist text. Then we have this row which contains an icon, this one here for example, and the text, which is the library name, which is this playlist. You see the icon is a little bit designed, which has, well, first of all, the resource is the icon, and then we have a little bit of modifier saying, hey, give it a little bit of space, and the content description should be name of the library. And then we have this icon after this row, so not inside the row, but after this row, which is this little icon here. This is this keyboard arrow right. And then we have a divider, which is this gray divider. And that's pretty much our lib item. And now we're just saying, hey, inside of the library, display a lazy column of a bunch of library items based on our libraries list, which is a list of library items or of lib data class items. Now we can go ahead and go over to our view, not the home view, but the main view, where we were taking care of the library screen composable inside of the navigation, right? And we can just add the library here now. And now if we rerun our application, we should be able to move over to the library in our app, not in the presentation app that I have prepared here beforehand. So here we can go to the library and you see we get our library. Now what doesn't change yet is the text, the title. We don't change that yet, and also we don't have the selection correct yet. So once we click on any of those given items, it's not changing the color to be selected. So that's it for this video. See you in the next one.